Hey, everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960, or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is illusion and those you love will be the first to go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson-Zia has garnered great reviews and even loved and enjoyed by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forrest Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today for Goes Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon. Also, check out The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com on over 40 podcast platforms in over 100 countries, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also, Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, Apple Music. Also heard on HamiltonRadio.net. Oldies FM, Diamonds Radio, and a few other networks coming near you. Take the Mike Wagner Show on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. And for great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com and check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast, t-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bags, hoodies, baseball gear, and more. Amazon.com and check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia for great books like Missing, Want Some Wrinkles, also t-shirts, pop sockets, hoodies, phone cases, and more. Amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia. Check it out today. Also support the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM, PayPal, themikewagnershow.com. You can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com at the Mike Wagner Show. Make sure you do so today. He's back by popular demand, and we're glad to have him back. He's American TV host, writer, producer of profiles of 20 years with celebrities, including Joan Rivers, Joan Collins, Smokey Robinson, Isaac Hayes, and more. He's also author of the book From the Project to Profiles, a memoir. We also talked last about his tabletop classic, Inside Celebrity Profiles, A Visual Journey. And he's had some recent guests, photographers Billy Hess, Robert Brunfeld, and also Ann Ligori from the Golf Channel. And we'll be talking baseball, we'll be talking golf, and, just everything across the board. And what's up with Mickey? We'll find out live, ladies and gentlemen, from the Plus Studios in beautiful downtown New York City. The Mansley, multi-talented and host of Profiles, Mickey Burns. Mickey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us once again.
Hi, Mike. I always enjoy being on your show because you're so well researched and prepared. Not every host can say that, but you are.
Oh.
And I love being on your show.
Well, I appreciate that too. And you've done some great research as well too. And of course, by the way, congratulations on 20 years on being American TV host, writer, and producer of your wonderful show. You had Joan Rivers, Joan Collins, Smokey Robinson, and Isaac Hayes, and more. And of course, we talked about how you went from the projects to profiles, and you also took a step further with your tabletop book, and I really enjoyed it as well too. Got to check it out, Inside Celebrity Profiles, A Visual Journey, and you also had some recent guests. And I guess the big word is what's up with Mickey Burns? I guess we'll find out. So give us an update first of all, and tell us, how are the books doing?
Well, the books are doing great, and as we mentioned last, it took a long time to write the memoir, about 1.5 years, and I would write it everywhere, on the train, on the subway, on the ferry boat, but I got it done. But it is all consuming for a period of time. I mentioned previously, before we came on air, the only thing I left out was I was inducted into the Staten Island Sports Hall of Fame.
Oh, congratulations.
Which was a huge thrill. I never expected that. But prior to my years in broadcasting, I was an athlete in high school and college. And then when I first returned home from college, I was a basketball coach before I got into broadcasting. So I guess for what I accomplished sports-wise, they inducted me. Interestingly, Mike, and I'll share this one story with you, Staten Island is a real baseball town.
Mm-hmm.
I used to play 5 nights a week in different leagues.
Wow.
But American Legion was like, that was the premier league outside of high school.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a great American Legion team. And in 1964, we won the New York City championship, then won the state championship. And I ended up getting on my first plane going to Little Rock, Arkansas to play in the American Legion World Series.
Wow.
And I was just telling somebody the other day, it was very significant to me because we ended up losing in the World Series to Raleigh Fingers. I don't know if you remember him.
I remember Raleigh Fingers. Yes, he was the had the barber mustache, Oakland A's, and later ended his career with the Milwaukee Brewers, played briefly with San Diego. It's like, I remember Raleigh Fingers very well. It's like, God, what was it? 1972. It's like, I remember watching baseball. Of course, the Cubs weren't that great, but then I love watching Raleigh Fingers and the Oakland A's. They were great.
So we ended up losing to his team. I think that was Los Angeles at the time. And but the reason I mentioned it, and I realized that when I was inducted into the Staten Island Sports Hall of Fame, some of the people that are in there, like Bobby Thompson, you know Bobby Thompson?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I remember that.
What is he famous for? The shot
heard around the world. Yes.
He's from Staten Island as well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, why it was significant to me personally, 3 members of that American Legion team. I'm the 3rd to be inducted into the Staten Island Sports Hall of Fame.
Wow.
Only 9 players on a team. A 1/3 of that team is now inducted into and a member of the Staten Island Sports Hall of Fame. The other 2 were Terry Crowley. He still holds records for pinch hitting with Baltimore.
I remember Terry, yes.
Yes, and then he coached for a number of years. He was, our power hitter on that team. And our pitcher was Jack Hurley, who played for the Minnesota Twins.
I remember Jack Hurley. Yes, that's right. And I think it was around that time, if I recall, I think it was with Bert Blyleven. He played for the Twins. It was around there, yeah. And Rod Carew from the 70s that played at the old freezing Metropolitan Stadium. I love watching that. It's like watching Twins players freeze.
Good. That's what happened. And pitching in the cold, he hurt his arm.
Oh.
Back then. So his career was shortened. But that was a big thrill. First plane ride, World Series with my American Legion team from Staten Island.
Oh my gosh, that is something as well too. And of course, I also noted too that you also had Ann Liguori on recently from the Golf Channel, and I had Keith Hirsch on as well too. And of course, maybe you can just tell us a bit about your golf game if you ever had a golf game. So I tried playing golf and keep saying it's like I don't want to play golf. I drive my family crazy. It's been like, oh God, 40 years to keep saying I want to play golf, but I never get to it. So
well, I've been playing golf my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a frustrating game because, you're always trying to get better. It's not easy. The key to getting better is to practice. I had Kenny G on the show about 3 years ago, and he's a really an addicted golfer. But he said, Mickey, I don't have time to practice, or else he'd really be good. But he said, when I do practice, I just practice my short game. And he said, that's where you gain all your strokes around the green, putting and chipping and out of sand. But that's what I don't do. I don't practice enough. So I don't hit the ball as far as I did when I was younger. As you get older, you lose distance.
Mm-hmm.
That's very frustrating.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I'm still 25.
Mm-hmm.
But on the course now, I'm not. So you have to learn how to adjust and know your capabilities and still practice. That's the key.
Mm-hmm. And certainly indeed as well too. And of course, that we had you on with the challenges of coronavirus, and of course things open up as well too. And of course the difference, being on with coronavirus and off, we'll talk about in just 1 minute. You listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at SonicWebStudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget, Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. It's 1-800-303-3960, or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, We love Missing by Mia Zia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is illusion and those you love will be the first go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Zia has garnered great reviews and even loved and endorsed by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today. Goes Missing by Mia Zia, available on Amazon. Also, check out The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com on over 40 podcast platforms. Take The Mike Wagner Show on any mobile device. Subscribe to The Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Don't forget to follow The Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. And for great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com and check out The Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/Mia Zia and check out his great books and merchandise and more. Also support The Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM, PayPal, themikewagnershow.com. You can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com at The Mike Wagner Show. Make sure you do so today. We're here with the amazing multi-talented TV host, writer, and producer of profiles of 20 years with celebrities, Mickey Burns, here on The Mike Wagner Show. And we last talked earlier as well, too, that we talked about your tabletop book, Inside Celebrity Profiles, A Visual Journey. And of course, that was around the time with the coronavirus, and maybe just fast forward and how that book is going, how that came about. And of course, guests are starting to come in and everything's starting to pick up again for you.
It is, Mike. It is. And the coffee table book, we put it together during the pandemic. And I have the same photographer who's been on the set with me for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And one day, his name was Robert. And I said, during the pandemic, Robert, how many photos have you taken on the set, behind the scenes, whenever, over 20 years? He said, I have no idea, but I'll call you tonight. I'll check the computer. So Mike, he called me that night. He said, Mickey, I got the number. I took 14,562 photos over 20 years. So I told Eileen, our publicist, about it. And she said, let me call our publisher and let them know that you have this body of work. And they loved the idea and said they gave us the green light to put the coffee table book together. Now, mind you, you can only do 120 pages in the coffee table book. So I was limited to that. And I had 14,000 photos. So the hard part was which ones you're going to use, which ones you're not going to use.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we're happy with the ones we did. We broke it up into categories: singers, actors, comedians, athletes, and each chapter it goes like that. And we're very happy with it.
That is rather interesting. And you had so many of these photos as well, too. Any plans on putting out another coffee table book?
Well, that's a good point, Mike. We certainly have enough photos. 40,000, maybe we use 300, whatever it is. So yeah, that's a good idea, and hopefully we can do a part 2.
Oh, that would be amazing as well, too. And of course, you also had some recent guests as well, too. And, just tell people about where they can find you and everything. And what are some of the more memorable ones you've had recently as well, too, that I see them on Facebook and everything. And or maybe just some of the more funnier stories as well, too. And
you love those funny stories.
Oh, yes. I mean, that's what really makes it. In fact, I was going to tell you a baseball story, which, how hosts are. It's they'll go from one thing to another and everything. It's typical of hosts like you and I do. But a good baseball story, I was going to mention that my dad actually grew up with Bob Uecker, who is who played for the Milwaukee Brewers when they became that famous broadcaster. Hey, sports fans, I love you. He actually grew up two blocks away from Bob Uecker, and they're playing stickball. And everybody joked about Bob Uecker being just a lousy 200 hitter, and he joked about it. But yet he was a really good player, not just stickball, but high school, college, and everything. He was really good at what he did, and just a really nice guy. So I was just really happy to hear about he's good friends with Bob Uecker. So, and I'm glad he's still around today too. So.
Yes, he did. What I forgot, I did want to mention when we were talking before about Jack Hurley and Terry Crowley being also inducted into the Staten Island Sports Hall of Fame. And then I was inducted recently. They went to baseball, but I went to football.
Oh, really?
Well, they went right from high school right into the minor leagues.
Mm-hmm.
I was the first person in my family to have an opportunity to go to college. So I decided, because I could have been drafted by the Cincinnati Reds.
Oh my goodness. Wow, that would have been great.
But at the time, I told them, no, I'm going to college. I'm going to play football. So I did. And I played for 4 years, got my degree, which was my, to be the first person in your family to graduate college is a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
So upon graduating, I wanted to continue and go to graduate school.
Mm-hmm.
Right after I graduated, there was a month between graduate school and graduating undergrad. And my football coach handed me an envelope, and it had I'll never forget it. It had a red logo in the left-hand corner. It said Washington Redskins.
Really? Wow.
So I opened the letter, and it's a letter from Vince Lombardi.
Nice. That's nice.
He had just taken over at Washington as the head coach and general manager. Remember that? 1970.
I remember, yeah. And I think he won his last championship at Green Bay and got bored with it and went on to do bigger and better things. Yes, I remember that.
So I had to make a decision. And the letter was, Mickey, we'd like you to come to camp, which starts in July 28th or something like that. But I was already enrolled in graduate school.
Oh.
So I decided, I had made 4 years in high school, 4 years at college without any serious injuries. I decided to continue my education. And there was no money in football, Mike, back then.
That's true. Yeah, you played it for the sport and played it for the passion. I remember that.
That's right. You loved it, and that's why you did it. There was no, like today, 15 million. If it was like today, I would have been on the next bus or train or plane to watch, So I decided to pass on Mr. Lombardi's offer, and I ended up going to graduate school instead. I wrote him a nice letter explaining to him why I made that decision and thanking him for inviting me, but I passed on it.
That was interesting. I have to say that. And of course, some of the things I had in mind is like, if you were pitched for the Cincinnati Reds, it's like, would you have made it to the major leagues? And I had some. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying you're absolutely right. I mean, I could have gone into the minor leagues and not made it. Mm-hmm. Would have I still then been able to get a college scholarship? You know what I mean, for my education. Mm-hmm. I think even baseball players didn't make a lot of money back then.
I think, what was it around that time? What was it like? I think 60s and 70s. I think you were like, close to minimum wage or somewhere around there, maybe tops 10, 15, 20,000 at the most or something. And now it's like, the entry for the major leagues, if you're like, just got called up, like, rode the bench, became a pinch hitter or something, or called into play shortstop in the bottom of the ninth or something with say the Yankees are winning 12-1 and they put you in at shortstop. I think the minimum nowadays is like what, 100,000, 200,000, 300,000. And I'm hearing like the NFL minimum is like $500,000. I'm like, oh my goodness.
I remember that year, the St. Louis Cardinals with Bob Gibson won the World Series. Mm-hmm. And the Kansas City Star, because I went to college in Missouri, listed the starters and how much they made. And I remember the shortstop, and I'm thinking Del Maxville or something like that. I'm not positive. He made $37,000.
Wow.
1970 on a world championship team. So money was not your motivation. And most of those players back in those days, once the season was over, they worked at other jobs.
I remember that. Yes. And there are some famous ones too, that Hank Aaron was worked insurance in Milwaukee. And I think I'm trying to think somebody was doing, car sales. And I think there was also the story of Richie Hebner working on the overnight graveyard shift. After Philadelphia. Yes. And I think some did sales, some ran their businesses, some went into construction, and some just kind of took a break and it's not these days where it's like you got to keep the machine running 24/7, 365. I mean, these players back in the day, actually, their careers last a long time. You can come to camp with like a huge beer belly and you still make the team.
I mean, the other day on one of the sports channels, They were talking about Aaron Judge and offering him 121 million for his next contract. And guess what? He's snubbing the 121 million.
Oh my gosh.
A lot more. 121 million.
Oh man, I don't believe it. What's in these people these days? You know, it's like 121. It's like, what's he trying to do? Get like 200 million from the Dodgers or Angels or something, or Red Sox?
I mean, he wants to stay Yankee, but they want what they want and they get it. But how much money do you need?
Mm-hmm. And of course, I thought about that too. I had a talk with my dad as well too, and they say that it's surprising that baseball players make more money than a brain surgeon, a teacher, a president, and everything else. And I remember this one story. Kevin Seitzer, he played he played third base, and I think it was for who is it, Kansas City or Oakland or something like that. And he turned down a lucrative deal and end up like just getting like a minimum from the Milwaukee Brewers, and he's out of baseball. And I remember Kevin Seitzer, I thought, you bonehead, take the money, you know.
Or take it and run. Very interesting, Mike. But times are changing. I remember in my last life, when I was a teacher, I think it was 1977. I was a teacher and a high school basketball coach, and I got a raise to $14,000.
Wow.
And I said, I'm a rich man. How am I going to spend all this money? And I'll tell you, Mike, I had a good lifestyle. I had a good place to live, had a nice car. I went on vacations. So, 14,000 in 1977 went a long way.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's equivalent to what, like about 70, 80,000 in today's money or something?
I would think something like that. Sure. So even though it sounds dismal, it was okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember those days too. And of course, teaching was much more, professional as well too. And of course, you went on to journalism and everything else. And,
Yep.
that transition as well too. And then here you are today, 20 years later with Profiles. I mean, the best decision you ever made.
Yes. And I'm getting ready for my interviews next week. And I have Don McLean.
Oh, my favorite. American
Pie.
Mm-hmm.
And having him this time is he just has a children's book out.
Oh, nice.
And it's called Don McLean, American Pie, A Fable.
Oh, my goodness.
Done. And he just keeps going and going. He's a remarkable musician and songwriter. This will be the third time I had him on. And I have another fellow on that you probably don't know, but I've been getting a lot of emails lately. I'm sure you get them all the time. When are you going to have somebody from the doo-wop era on your show?
Oh, you know something? You hit it right on the head. It started with Freddie Vilas and the Silvertones, and I think I'm getting about 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's like they're just coming at me like crazy. I'll tell you, Mike. Yeah, I'm getting hit with a wave of them, and boom, here's an email. Remember that AOL sound? You got mail. You got mail. It's like a blip just coming at you right in your face.
I said I know a doo-wop star from back in the day. His name is Vito Picone. You wouldn't know that name, I don't think, but he was with a group called the Elegance.
Yes, the Elegance. That's right. And you know something too? I'll give a little spoiler. I'm gonna start having him on my show pretty soon. So here we go.
But the Elegance had a huge #1 hit back, I think 1959 or 60, called Little Star.
Little Star, yes.
Little Star, where are you? One of those. But yeah, yes. And so, but besides that, he owns his own talent booking agency in New York City. He was in Goodfellas, the movie.
I remember that, yes.
Remember the scene, which was go home and get your shine box scene at the bar?
Mm-hmm. Remember that?
And Joe Pesci. He was the guy with the beard behind Frank Vincent, like his bodyguard.
Mm-hmm.
And he was in Analyze This, and he was in The Sopranos, and he just had a scene in The Irishman.
Oh yes, The Irishman. That's one of my favorite movies. And I had one of the guys played in there. It was at I'm trying to think. It's Scott Maginelli. He played one of the guards in it too. He worked alongside the two stars as well too. It's like, we talk about so much, and it's like, 3-hour movie, but it was well worth it though. I told my wife, I said, "Oh, it's a long movie." I said, "This is worth it, believe it or
Well,
not."
he was in it, and he also, interestingly, Mike, I know you'd like to hear about this. He just came back from St. Cloud, Iowa. You know what that city's famous for? That's where the airplane crash of Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, and the Big Bopper. That's where it crashed.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
He
I do remember that, and I think one of my guys was not too far from there, but I think it was like a town that's like maybe like a few miles away from St. Cloud. I can't think of the name of it, but
Yeah.
yeah. Oh my gosh.
So he went back recently. They did an anniversary tribute in memory of those that perished, and they took him to the site of the plane crash.
Wow.
And he said they have a little monument there, but he said it's not worthy of the stars that perished that day. It's a little tiny thing, He says, I was ready to write him a check to build another one. It was a terrible, terrible monument, a little thing. It was nothing.
Mm-hmm. And of course, a tourist trap too. So
yes, yeah, and it's in a cornfield. You have to take a bus through the farm in order to get to the cornfield where the plane crashed.
oh my goodness. Yeah, that's something too. And I remember watching that movie La Bamba where they had the day the music died, and it was actually true. The buses were not heated. They were very cold. They complained, and a lot of the guys were threatening to say cancel the tour because the promoters like push, and the buses were cold. It was like, oh God, it was like 0 or 10 above at the most or something. Some have to take planes it's warmer. And it was a story about Waylon Jennings too. The fact he said that what was it? What was better freeze on that bus? He goes, well, I hope your plane crashes. And all of a sudden, next thing you know, it did, and it haunted Waylon Jennings for the rest of his life.
Right. And the Elegants were on that tour.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a second tour. They were also on a previous tour with the same group. And many years ago, I had Dion from Dion and the Belmonts on the show.
Uh-huh.
The Wanderer, Runaround Sue.
Oh, yeah. My favorite.
Tour with Dion and the Belmonts.
Mm-hmm.
And he told me during the interview, the reason they took the plane, the heater on the bus broke down. And it was the first week in February, and it was bitterly cold, and everyone was getting sick.
Yes, I remember that. That's why some of them wanted to get off the tour too, because they were getting sick and affected their voices, couldn't sing or whatever it is. So yeah.
Well, they wanted to take the plane and rest a day before the next concert,
mm-hmm.
right? So Dion, who's still going strong, they had 3 people on the plane: Richie Valens, Buddy Holly, and the Big Bopper, who was a radio DJ,
mm-hmm.
and they had one more seat available. It was a 4-seater. So they asked Dion to join them. So Dion said to Richie Valens, how much? And Richie Valens says, $36 a piece. And Dion thought about it. He says, I pass. And said to him, why would you pass? He said, because $36 is the exact amount my mother is paying for her rent in the Bronx.
Oh my goodness.
And if I did this, she'd never forgive me for the indulgence.
Wow.
And then he sat back in his chair and a tear came down his eye. And he said, Mickey, I could tell you, if it was $32 or $40, I would have been on that flight.
Well, you can thank his mom for that magic number 36. So
if he didn't hit the nail on the head at 36, I was on that flight.
Wow. That was something. That's so amazing.
Going to see him in concert July 20th at the St. George Theater on Staten Island.
Amazing. Yes, that's right. And I could think of some other doo-woppers as well too. And I'm trying to think. I had one, Mel Carter, with that song "Hold Me, Thrill Me, Kiss Me," that #1 song. And he grew up in Cincinnati and, had his share of it too. And that was an amazing song. It's like, I love talking to people. It's like, don't have to be in New York or whatever it is, but Cincinnati of all places, it's like, I almost worked a radio job in Cincinnati, 1530 WSAI, and went through there. And I've wanted to go see a Reds game at the old Riverfront Stadium, but they got that great American ballpark too. So, but the Reds, well, that's a different story. So,
yeah, but you would be great as a radio broadcaster for baseball. You'd be great. You got the voice, you got the personality, you got everything.
And you do too, Mickey, as well too. Have 20 years as well too. And of course, what else is coming up from Mickey Burns? We'll find out just 1 minute. You listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at SonicWebStudios.com for all your needs. Also brought to you by official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson's The Missing, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. We'll be back with the amazing TV host, writer, and producer of Profiles, Mickey Burns, after this time. We're back with the amazing multi-talented Mickey Burns of Profiles here on the Mike Wagner Show. And also just a couple of things, besides, talking baseball, I had these great guests and everything else. And what else do you have coming up in 2022 and beyond, like another book, another TV show, anything like that? So what else is coming up for you? Even go further than that, 23, 24, 25, as far as you want to go.
Yeah. Well, we hope to continue doing the show and getting great guests. That's a challenge in itself, right? It's not easy to keep the level of excellence up all the time. So we would like to continue doing that. No more pandemic. So now people are coming back to New York for a 2-year period. Mike, we had difficulty getting guests because everyone was locked up.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't want to leave. There was, I used to get a lot of my guests coming to New York to promote their books, right? Mm-hmm. That ended completely. They wanted to promote their new CD, their new movie, their new TV show. That all stopped completely. Just now, it's starting to come back. So it's been at least 2 years. Mm-hmm. But we somehow managed to be creative and get good guests and continue producing good shows. But now it's getting a lot easier.
Mm-hmm. And certainly do too. And if anybody wanted to get on your show, it's like, how would they contact you?
Well, it's easy. They can just search me on Facebook, right? I'm Mickey Burns TV on Facebook, Mickey Burns TV on Instagram, or they can go to our website, Profiles TV Show at gmail.net.
Okay, we will certainly do so. And once again, we're with Mickey Burns here on the Mike Wagner Show. And once again, it's always great to have you on board too. And maybe we'll catch up on the football season. And hopefully, the Giants and Jets will do much better this year. And what do you think what they really need to do to get better? It's like, if you were on the Giants or the Jets, what would you do?
That's a great question. I guess the first thing I would do if I was on the Jets, I would improve my offensive line to protect the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
He took a beat, Zach, whatever. He took a beating last year.
Oh my gosh, that was pathetic. Oh, I feel sorry for the guy.
And the Giants, I think they need a coach with some stability. They keep changing coaches, and each selection they make seems to be worse than the last. So I think you need a good head coach, leadership with them. I think the talent is there somewhere, but it's not being coached properly. The Jets, on the other hand, they both of them need some pass rushers. I don't think either has pass rushers. Now, I don't know if that's poor draft picks or too far down on the draft picks. And whoa, Mike, did I lose you?
No, I'm still with you. I mean, we got Faces for Radio. I'm kidding. So yeah, I think you just got to push your video button on there too. So
can you still see me?
No, not yet, but I can still hear you. And I was just thinking about with the Giants and the Jets as well too. What are your thoughts on Joe Judge as the head coach? Though, Judge went back to New England after he got fired.
Yeah, I think the jury's out on him. I didn't like him. Mm-hmm. They would look horrible, and in the press conference, he'd talk about all the positive things that he saw during the game. And as a fan, I didn't see any.
Yeah, and I think he came from the Patriot way as well too. And it looks like Belichick's a great coach, but then all the assistants, with the exception of Bill O'Brien to some decent success, they all tanked. You know, I kind of wonder about the Patriot way. Does it really work in other NFL teams or not? You make you wonder about that.
Right, right. I agree. You don't need, do you need my video back or not?
If you want to, go ahead. So I love talking football with you. We can do that as well. And I still remember what you said about Aaron Rodgers in our last show. I said, you know, good luck with Aaron Rodgers and everything. And Aaron Rodgers almost got him to the promised land again. You know, again, a game shy of getting to the Super Bowl, but of course, getting the most money more than Patrick Mahomes. It's like the price. He loses 2 or 3 of his best receivers. It's like, boy, what a price to pay for signing the richest quarterback contract in NFL history, making Patrick Mahomes a really poor man. So,
right. 2 things today. I read somewhere that Colin Kaepernick is going to get a shot with one of the NFL teams. I don't know how effective he's going to be. How many years has he been out now?
Oh, geez, was it like several years now or something? He's like 34 right now. It's like by the time you're 34, you're pretty much just you're pretty much shot. It's like, you know, instead of a running mobile quarterback, you're better off just like, you know, drop back, throw and be a smart quarterback like Randall Cunningham back in the day, or say with Michael Vick, you know, one time you ran, now it's like you'll be a smart passer and stuff like that. So
I think he was 2-15 or something the last year he played.
Yeah,
didn't win, and he was a young guy.
Oh yeah, and of course, you know, that kneeling thing, and you know, everybody knew about it as well too. And you know, the Packers also picked up a good second rounder, Christian Watson, out of North Dakota State, and they're saying he's a real speed demon too. So you know, the trend is among like you know, the little speed demons out there, but they play smart ball like a Cooper Kupp. So I think the Packers are going to make something out of mincemeat too. So it's going to be an interesting NFL season. We'll see what happens and see how the Commanders do with all the brouhaha they went through at Dan Snyder with all these allegations. Carson Wentz coming over from a disastrous year with Indianapolis. In Washington, is that going to save his career? I guess that's a big question out there in Washington. It's like, you know, are they going to survive with the new Commander's name, which my opinion of the Commander's name is.
Yeah. And last year, Mike, the team that really broke my heart or felt bad for them was the Buffalo Bills.
Oh my goodness.
Losing that game to Kansas City with 11 seconds to go.
Oh my goodness. I was pulling for Buffalo to pull it out. It seemed like Buffalo had Kansas City's number, and then they lose a heartbreak. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, you know, they always pull off the magic, but then it's like the Super Bowl. It's like, you know, yeah, that's a different story. But Cincinnati, I was thinking about the offensive line. It's like the Bengals seriously need some offensive line. It's like Joe Burrow's a great quarterback, but getting sacked so many times, including 9 in the Super Bowl loss to LA. It's like he's about to have his career end in a couple of years if they don't shape up their offensive line.
I agree. So it's going to be an interesting year, but I like quarterback.
It certainly will. It certainly will do so. We'll talk more about that. Again, Mickey, a very big thank you for your time. You're always amazing. Once again, tell everybody where they can watch your show, where they can get your books, and how can they contact you.
Sure. In New York City, we're NYC Media Network. Goes out to 20 million people in a 50-mile radius in New York City. Channel 25 on your dial. It's on 3 times a week, Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday. And you can also find me on Instagram at Mickey Burns TV and Facebook, Mickey Burns TV. Easy to get in touch with, easy to find. And we keep it going here. It's called Profiles, and our 20th year.
It's certainly amazing. We're looking forward to 20 more as well. Once again, Mickey, it's always great to have you on, and looking forward to having you again soon. We got to do this in the fall when it comes to football, basketball, hockey, and everything. And wish you all the best. And I'm looking forward to hearing from you very soon. It's always great to hear from you.
Thanks, Mike. Continued success.